There is a moment so subtle that most men miss it when the body begins to whisper before it ever screams. A slight hesitation in energy, a delay in desire, a quiet erosion of certainty. You wake up one morning and something feels distant, not gone, not broken, just not fully there. Hello, gentlemen. I'm Dr. Sarah Mitchell, a urologist with over a decade of experience helping men maintain their sexual and prostate health well into their later years, and I need you to understand something most men are never told. What you are feeling is not random, it is not inevitable, and it is not simply aging. It is a signal, and if you ignore it, that whisper will become a language your body is forced to speak louder. Because your sexual health is not just about performance, it is a direct reflection of your biological command system. Testosterone is not just a hormone floating through your bloodstream. It is a message, a set of instructions that tells your cells how aggressively to repair, how confidently to respond, how powerfully to express themselves. When that message weakens, it is not because your body has decided to betray you, it is because the environment you have created no longer demands strength. Your biology is adaptive, brutally efficient, and completely honest. It gives you exactly what your lifestyle signals it to give you, and if those signals are built on comfort, excess, and inconsistency, your body will quietly begin to power down systems it no longer believes you need. And that realization should make you pause. Inside you, at a level deeper than thought, deeper than identity, there are mitochondria, trillions of microscopic engines that convert your existence into energy. These are not passive structures, they are responsive, reactive, and deeply sensitive to how you live. When you challenge your body, they multiply. When you fast, they refine themselves. When you expose yourself to controlled stress, cold, heat, resistance, they upgrade. But when your life becomes predictable, sedentary, overfed, and understimulated, these engines begin to slow, and when your mitochondria slow, your energy declines, your signals weaken, and your body begins to operate in a state of quiet conservation. What you feel as fatigue, as low libido, as lack of drive, is often just your biology adapting to a life that no longer requires intensity, and that should change how you see your current state. Blood flow is not just movement, it is permission. Every erection is a vascular event, a precise coordination between your brain, your hormones, and your blood vessels. Nitric oxide acts as the key, unlocking your arteries, allowing life to move where it is needed. But this system is fragile. It depends on the health of your endothelium, the inner lining of your blood vessels, and that lining is constantly being shaped by your choices. High sugar intake, chronic stress, poor sleep, lack of movement, these are not small issues. They are direct attacks on the system responsible for your sexual function. Over time, insulin resistance begins to build, silently disrupting your body's ability to manage energy, stiffening your arteries, dulling your responsiveness, and what you experience as dysfunction is not failure, it is a breakdown in communication. One that has been building for years without your awareness. And yet your body has not given up, it is still listening, still adapting, and still waiting for a different set of instructions. When you move your body with intention, you are not just exercising, you are sending a signal to your genes that strength is required. When you sleep deeply, you are not just resting, you are recalibrating your hormonal system, restoring testosterone, repairing neural pathways that influence desire and performance. When you align yourself with natural light, waking with the sun, exposing your eyes to morning brightness, you are not just following a routine, you are synchronizing your circadian rhythm, the master clock that dictates when your body produces hormones, when it repairs, when it activates. These are not lifestyle tips, these are biological commands, and your body responds to them with precision. If you are consistent enough to send them clearly, because consistency is what transforms signals into identity. Dopamine, the molecule that drives motivation, is not fixed, it is shaped by your behavior. When you constantly chase instant gratification, scrolling endlessly, consuming without effort, your dopamine system becomes dull, requiring more stimulation for less satisfaction. But when you introduce challenge, when you delay gratification, when you engage in effort that requires focus and discipline, dopamine begins to sharpen again. Your motivation returns, your drive intensifies, your confidence rebuilds not artificially, but biologically. This is why men who embrace discomfort, lifting heavy, fasting periodically, exposing themselves to cold or heat feel different. Their biology is operating in alignment with its design, and that alignment creates a feedback loop of strength that most men have never experienced. And that difference is impossible to ignore. Your identity is not separate from this process, it is at the center of it. The way you see yourself dictates the signals you send. A man who sees himself as disciplined will naturally behave in ways that reinforce that identity, and his biology will follow. His testosterone levels, his energy, his resilience, they are not accidents. They are outcomes of repeated signals, reinforced over time, and when that identity weakens, when discipline fades, when purpose becomes unclear, the biology follows that decline. This is why lifestyle is not optional, it is the primary driver of your long-term vitality. Every habit you maintain, every pattern you repeat, is a message to your body about what kind of man you are choosing to be. And your body is always listening. So if something inside you recognizes this, if there is a quiet awareness beginning to form, do not dismiss it. That awareness is your starting point, because your body has not forgotten how to function at a high level. It has simply adapted to what you have been consistently asking of it, and the moment you begin to change those requests, to send new signals through your actions, your environment, your discipline, your biology will begin to respond. Slowly at first, then with increasing momentum, until the man you thought was fading begins to re-emerge. And that process has already begun the moment you truly see it. There is a dangerous illusion that settles into a man's life over time, the belief that decline is natural, that slowing down is inevitable, that losing edge, desire, and power is simply the cost of getting older. But what if I told you that much of what you have accepted as aging is actually adaptation? That your body is not following a predetermined script but responding in real time to the signals you provide? Because aging, in many ways, is not a fixed destiny, it is a process that can be influenced, redirected, and in some cases, partially reversed. And that realization changes everything. Your hormones operate like an orchestra, not isolated instruments. Testosterone, cortisol, insulin, growth hormone, they are all part of a tightly regulated system, constantly communicating with one another. When one signal becomes distorted, the entire system adjusts. Chronic stress, for example, elevates cortisol, which over time suppresses testosterone. Poor diet leads to insulin resistance, which interferes with hormonal signaling and energy metabolism. Sleep deprivation disrupts the delicate timing of hormone release, leading to reduced recovery and impaired performance. These are not separate issues, they are interconnected, and when you begin to address them as a system rather than isolated problems, your body begins to respond in ways that feel almost unexpected. Fasting, for instance, is not simply about restricting food, it is about teaching your body flexibility. In a fed state, your body relies on glucose for energy, but when you fast, even for controlled periods, your metabolism shifts, learning to utilize stored fat, improving insulin sensitivity, and activating cellular repair mechanisms that are otherwise dormant. This process, known as metabolic flexibility, is a cornerstone of long-term health and vitality. It enhances mitochondrial efficiency, reduces inflammation, and improves hormonal balance, and perhaps most importantly, it reintroduces your body to a form of stress that it was designed to handle. And in doing so, it begins to restore systems that have been inactive for years. Exercise operates in a similar way, but with a different signal. When you lift weights, when you push your body against resistance, you are not just building muscle, you are activating pathways that increase testosterone production, improve insulin sensitivity, and enhance neurological function. Your body interprets resistance as a demand for strength, and it adapts accordingly. But the key is intensity. Casual movement is not enough. Your biology responds to challenge, to effort that forces adaptation, and when that challenge is consistent, your body begins to shift its baseline, redefining what it considers normal. And that shift is where transformation begins. Temperature exposure. Cold and heat adds another layer to this process. Cold exposure stimulates the release of norepinephrine, improving focus, mood, and resilience. It also enhances circulation, forcing your blood vessels to contract and expand, and improving vascular health over time. Heat exposure, such as saunas, increases heart rate, promotes detoxification, and has been linked to improved cardiovascular function. These are not extreme practices, they are controlled stressors that reawaken your body's adaptive capacity, and when combined with proper nutrition, movement, and rest, they create a biological environment that supports strength, vitality, and longevity. And that environment is something you can actively build. But none of this works without sleep. Sleep is the foundation upon which all other systems depend. During deep sleep, your body releases the majority of its testosterone, repairs damaged tissues, consolidates memory, and resets your nervous system. Without it, no amount of exercise, diet, or supplementation can fully compensate. Your circadian rhythm, the internal clock that governs your sleep-wake cycle, is influenced by light exposure, timing of meals, and daily habits. Aligning this rhythm is one of the most powerful ways to optimize your biology, yet it is often overlooked, and when you begin to prioritize it, the effects are not subtle, they are profound, cascading through every system in your body. So if you are beginning to see the pattern, to understand that your body is not working against you but responding to you, then you are already ahead of most men. Because awareness is the first shift, the first signal that something is about to change, and once that awareness takes hold, it becomes difficult to ignore, difficult to go back to old patterns without recognizing their cost. And that tension is exactly where transformation begins. At some point, every man faces a decision, not a dramatic, visible moment, but a quiet internal choice about how he will respond to what he now understands. Because once you see that your body is listening, that it is adapting to every signal you send, you can no longer claim ignorance, you are no longer reacting, you are participating. And that realization carries weight because it means your future vitality is not something that happens to you. It is something you actively create. Discipline in this context is not restriction, it is alignment. It is the act of bringing your behavior into agreement with what your biology requires to function at its highest level. It is choosing movement over stagnation, challenge over comfort, and intention over impulse. And each time you make that choice, you reinforce a signal, a pattern that your body begins to recognize and respond to. Over time, these signals accumulate, reshaping your internal environment, altering your hormonal balance, improving your energy production, restoring your responsiveness. This is not immediate, it is not dramatic, but it is consistent. And consistency is what creates irreversible change. Your sexual health, your energy, your confidence, they are not isolated outcomes. They are reflections of a system that is either functioning in harmony or falling into disarray. And when you begin to restore that harmony, the effects ripple outward. You feel sharper, more present, and more capable. Your decisions improve. Your focus returns. Your sense of control strengthens. This is not coincidence, it is the natural result of a body that is receiving clear, consistent signals about what it needs to become. And once that process begins, it tends to accelerate, building momentum with each aligned action. There will be resistance. Your mind will seek comfort, will try to pull you back into familiar patterns. But understand this, that resistance is not a sign that you are failing, it is a sign that you are changing. Your biology is adjusting, recalibrating, and learning a new baseline, and during that process, discomfort is inevitable. But it is also temporary, because on the other side of that discomfort is adaptation, and on the other side of adaptation is a version of yourself that feels different, stronger, clearer, more aligned with what you were designed to be. And that is the point where most men begin to realize something profound, that their vitality was never truly lost. It was suppressed, buried under layers of inconsistent signals, waiting for the right conditions to re-emerge. Your hormones are not broken, your energy is not gone, your drive is not permanently diminished, they are all still there, responsive, waiting for you to create the environment that allows them to rise again. And when you do, the change is not just physical, it is psychological, emotional, and deeply personal. So now the question is no longer whether change is possible, it is whether you are willing to take responsibility for the signals you send from this moment forward, because your body will respond one way or another. It will either continue to adapt to comfort and decline, or it will rise to meet challenge and strength. The direction is not chosen once, it is chosen daily, through actions that seem small but carry cumulative power over time. And that choice is already in front of you. If something inside you has shifted while listening to this, if you feel that quiet ignition, that awareness sharpening, then don't let it fade into distraction. Anchor it, like this video, subscribe to the channel, press the bell icon so you stay connected to what matters. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, and leave a comment as a signal not to me but to yourself that you are ready to take control of your biology, your energy, your identity. Because your body is listening, and this time, you are finally speaking its language.